Jurgen Klinsmann, Jan, with us. Jurgen, you kind of experienced this, obviously, when you were in charge of Bayern. What's it like where every media outlet is saying pretty much you're on your way out, you're a dead man walking?
It's not a nice feeling, to be honest. But the question is always, do you have the back of the club, of the leaders of the club? In this case, at Real Madrid, it's mostly the president, the owner. How is that relationship going? If that relationship is a positive one, I don't think there will be any consequences at that moment in time. Obviously, the best way to get out of that situation is getting results quickly and getting wins and calm down the media in a certain way. But obviously, you feel a bit alone. You feel like everybody's blaming you for certain results that didn't go the right way. So what Xabi is going through right now is tough. But he's a fantastic manager. He proved his point, with Leverkusen. It's a totally different ball game, obviously, at Real Madrid. He has a lot of alpha animals there in his roster, in his squad, and the club is massive. It's no comparison now to Bayer Leverkusen. So I could just keep my fingers crossed for him that he goes through it and stays on board.
Alpha animals is a good word to describe some of those players within the squad. And it seems like Xabi Alonso doesn't have the control that he needs to if he's going to make this team successful.
Well, I think it's easier to get the Bayer Leverkusen players to buy into what he wants than some of these big egos. There's no other way to put it. The big heads at Real Madrid are more difficult to manage, and that's why somebody like Carlo Ancelotti did such a good job, because he's such a specialist at managing players. He's well known for his ability to do that. And even he struggled with that in the end. Look, I don't want to see anybody lose their job as a manager, but we live in the real world here. He's a walloping away from losing his job tomorrow. And this is one of the worst teams that are rolling up into town. Manchester City. Not that they're the greatest City side, because they have their own issues, particularly defensively. But boy, they can score goals for fun. They can open teams up for fun. If it's Foden, whether it's Cherky, whether it's Haaland, any of these players, Marmoush, any of them. Some of them don't even get a game these days. And this Real Madrid side are not only decimated in confidence, they're decimated in personnel. They got injuries to Militao again at the weekend, and he's out to March. They got suspensions. They had Carvajal already out. They had Trent Alexander-Arnold already out. They have got Fran Garcia playing left back. They've got doubts over Kylian Mbappe. And Florentino Perez is sitting upstairs, and if they get beaten tomorrow by, maybe if they get beat 1-0, I don't know, but if they get beat 3 or 4-0, and it could happen, because this Man City side are in better shape than Real Madrid, I would fear for the decision that Xabi Alonso is going to be taking when that phone rings.
I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think they could win tomorrow and they'd still be gone before Christmas.
Well, it does seem that way, but, a win tomorrow, and that may be buying some time. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, I don't know. Because it looks like he's having these difficulties with these players. And we do it every week, La Liga. And some of the things that are sort of leaking out are suggesting that the players and the player power is starting to take some sort of hold. However, no matter what, if they get a hiding tomorrow at home against Man City, it's over.
Jan, are you surprised the way this has played out?
No, and I don't think Alonso is surprised. No, I don't think Alonso is surprised either, as was Jurgen Klinsmann.
But yeah, when it was announced that Alonso was going to be the Real Madrid manager, you went on it going, no, this is a big mistake, he shouldn't take it, this isn't going to work out.
Did I say that?
No, exactly.
No, exactly.
So
nobody.
This is a surprise, isn't it? This is a surprise, because everyone thought, Xabi Alonso, he's perfect to step into Carlo Ancelotti, new blood coming in.
If you ask me if the process is surprising when you lose football games. This is the same with Salah. If you don't perform, you will be in question, even if you're Mohamed Salah or you're Xabi Alonso. Jurgen knew when he went to Bayern, he knew what Uli Hoeneß did. He knew what Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. There was always that the media will go after him. He knew that. And still, you are surprised how quick things goes. And it's an interesting thing with Xabi Alonso as well. We tend to forget because we like him. He's very charismatic. He was very successful as a player. He was very charismatic manager or a successful manager of Bayer Leverkusen. He's still a quite young coach, quite inexperienced. So he get this job very early. Yes, that happened to Zinedine Zidane. Yes, we were talking about Ancelotti, the biggest fox of them all, the wolf, call him whatever he wants. He went to Bayern. He couldn't cope with Bayern. I remember him in Paris after the game in the Champions League. He looked like a coach that never want to see a football again. So that's my answer to your question. It's surprising when you don't win football games. If you struggle, it doesn't matter what your name is, as it is for Salah. You can't, in our competitive business, rely on anything of your name or what you did yesterday. Unfortunately.
In some sense, the writing has been on the wall when you look at it and you take a step back and you think about Carlo Ancelotti last year and his struggles. And yeah, Barcelona played well, but Real Madrid struggled. When he's having to ask Vinicius Jr., tell Vinicius Jr., run. I need you to run. I need you to work hard or you're coming off. When he's having to do that and you have a young manager coming in that wants to play a higher pressing, higher intensity game, you're fighting against the wind from before you even get there, because you're asking players to do something that they don't want to do, that they think they are above. They want to play Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe, particularly Vinicius Jr., he wants to play when it suits him. And when Xabi Alonso had the success at Bayer Leverkusen, it was about the team. Yeah, they had Florian Wirtz and some other really good players, but it was about the team. It was about the shape, it was about the work ethic, it was about all these games that they were drawing or losing it in the 94th minute, and they came back and they rolled their sleeves up and they picked the points up because they were all together. They were in it together. This lot at Real Madrid are not in it together. And no matter what Xabi Alonso does, when that's the case, you are going to struggle. And when you're trying to implement something that's your philosophy and you want to do, and you want this to succeed, but they've got different ideas, you're up against it.
So, Jurgen, does that mean that any manager that comes in is kind of, set up for failure?
In the long run, certainly. I think so, yeah. I mean, it depends a lot. A lot depends on your relationship with the ownership. You know, in this case, Florentino Perez and Xabi Alonso. What is their relationship? What is the backing of Perez for Xabi? You know, so players see that relationship, and your leverage with the players depends on that relationship you have with the owner. And if that is not the best relationship, and if the owner is not stepping out and says, this is the direction we go, then you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable every weekend, and especially when you don't have the results right away. So this is the problem for every manager in a big club coming in. The question is, what is your leverage with your team that you have? So obviously, Xabi's leverage at Bayer Leverkusen is far, far bigger than at a top five team. If it's Real Madrid, Barcelona, or Manchester City, or other ones. So then over the time of his coaching career, he will build more leverage, meaning more stamina and more credit with the ownership groups in the place that he coaches then. So because I think Pep Guardiola is a wonderful example of how he built himself incredible amount of leverage, because every player will do whatever Pep says, because he's now, I don't know how many titles he won in the last 20 years. So this is the tricky part is, okay, how big is the backing of the ownership?
I mean, crazy decisions, and I'm sure Xabi Alonso didn't want this. And I'm not suggesting this is the deal breaker for a better team, but it just tells you the mindset. Jude Bellingham should have had the shoulder surgery at the end of the season so that he was super fit and ready to go pre-season and ready to start the season. That's what a manager wants. Not to play in a Club World Cup and then miss the start of the season, then be chasing your fitness when you have a new manager coming in. I'm not saying if Jude Bellingham was up to speed, Real Madrid would be winning, but it's this kind of mindset. This kind of mindset that's just wrong. prioritising a competition in the summer and delaying an operation for a player to miss the start of the season is completely against the grain of what most other clubs would do and how they would go about it.